right, let's look at example 6. This is another one that has an x squared, which means we could have two answers. So we need to factor. So we have everything on the left. We have 0 on the right. So what we're going to do is factor that 2x squared plus 5x minus 12. Now to get the 2x squared, you need a 2x and an x. And then you want to find the factors of negative 12 that are going to give you a 5 in the middle. So let's try positive 3, negative 4. On this one, it gives me 2x squared, then it gives me negative 8x, positive 3x, and a negative 12. Now, a negative 8 and a positive 3 gives me a negative 5. So I need to change my signs around and try it again. So let's do minus 3 and plus 4. See if that one works. This one gives me the 2x squared plus 8x minus 3x. That gives me that positive 5x. And it gives me the negative 12 on the end. So now we're ready to set it equal to 0 and get our numbers on our number line. So we're going to do 2x minus 3 equals 0 and x plus 4 equals 0. Okay, so add your 3 to both sides. You get 2x equals 3. Divide by 2. And x is equal to 3 halves. So that's going to be one of the numbers on the number line. On the other one, we subtract our 4. We get x equals negative 4. That's the second number on our number line. So, your negative 4 is smaller. It goes on the left. Your positive 3 halves is greater. It goes on the right. Now I have to test points and see if I'm shading the middle or possibly the outsides. I want to plug them back in the original equation. Now remember, the easiest thing to try is 0. So since 0 happens to be between negative 4 and 3 halves, I'm going to check that. If it works, I'm going to shade the middle where the 0 is. If it doesn't work, I'm going to shade the outside. So let's go back to the original. If I put a 0 in the first one, I get 0. 5 times 0 is 0. Now I get negative 12 is greater than or equal to 0. That's false. Okay, negative 12 is less than 0. So I don't want to shade where the 0 is. It didn't work. So that means I'm shading the outside. Everything less than negative 4 and greater than 3 halves will make that a true statement. Now I also need to decide if negative 4 and 3 halves are included. Go up here and see if you need a parenthesis or a bracket. In this case, there's an equal to, so I need a bracket. So I'm going to have a bracket facing the left and a bracket facing the right. That means everything shaded now will make that original equation a true statement. Now, interval notation is slightly different with this because we have two parts that are shaded in example 6, and we only had one part in example 5. So let's look at the left-hand side. So let's just look right here for a minute. The left end point would be negative infinity, and remember we always use a parenthesis with infinity, comma, the right end point right here, we're just looking at this piece of it, is negative 4 with a bracket. Now I have another shaded part to deal with over here. Negative 3 halves is the left end point, and it has a bracket, comma, the right end point right here would be positive infinity. Remember, you cannot equal infinity, so you use a parenthesis. Now, because I have two parts to this answer, two parts that were shaded, I have to put a U in the middle. And what that does is it tells the person looking at interval notation that those are united on one graph. It's a set. This one on the left works, and so do these on the right. So you put the U in the middle to show that they're all part of the answer.